Hi everyone, welcome to the SpeakEasy Spotlight. Today with our director series starting off. I'm your host Ashley Haw, and today we're here to talk about SpeakEasy's upcoming production of the Antiquities. And we are chatting with the director herself, the incredible Alex Lonati. Hi Alex, how are you doing?
Ashley, I'm good. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yeah, it's not too hot outside today. You know, we're just like in the office, nice and cool. So I think it's a pretty good day.
Yeah.
But so excited to talk to you about your show.
Me too.
And before we get into it, I'm just going to give a little bit of background on you, and then we'll get straight into the Antiquities. So Alex Lonati is a Boston-based director, producer, educator, accessibility advocate, and arts administrator. She has directed throughout the city, including SpeakEasy Stage Company, Brown Box Theater Project, Fresh Inc.'s Mad Dash, and the Boston Theater Marathon. Alex currently serves as the director of artistic and community programs at SpeakEasy. And additionally, Alex serves as the president of the Theater Community Benevolent Fund, an organization that provides emergency relief to artists in times of crisis. She's also an adjunct faculty member at Emerson College teaching arts management and directs at local universities throughout Boston. So that's a lot. Oh, just a little bit.
I like to keep busy. Sure.
Yes, but you know, obviously with such a big resume of directing projects all throughout Boston, you know, we got to get back to the center. So before we get into everything about the Antiquities, when did you discover theater and how did you start directing?
Ooh. Well, theater's been a part of my life for my entire life. My mother worked in theater, so, you know, we were singing show tunes as an infant. And like a lot of people in the arts, I started as a performer, was a precocious child who loved attention. So,
do you have a favorite role?
Oh gosh, you know, it's a past life, Ashley. But it was when I got to college, I went to Emerson for undergrad, that I realized my vision was broader. And that I really wanted to be the person telling the story from a wider lens, assembling a team of talented people to play each role, both on stage and off, but shepherding them to the same vision. And that's really the role of a director. So it was at Emerson where I really got my start directing and haven't looked back since. Oh Still love attention, don't get me wrong, but now it's more, it's less on stage and more running the room.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's such a unique position to be a director, and I don't think there's really one certain path to get there.
Yeah.
As someone who is kind of like trying to dip my toe in that area, you know, it's so fascinating to see how each director kind of takes a vision and runs a room a different way. What was like your first show that you ever directed?
The first show I ever directed was called Polar Bears by Mark Haddon. And it was this really wild, deep piece that was told in as though you've took all of the scenes and like mixed them up. So it was really hard to follow it until you got the complete picture at the end. I really love theater that plays with unique forms of storytelling. I think that our medium is so special in that way that you can, A, it's live, but B, it's we have the license to do something different. So I really love nonlinear storytelling. I love plays that just try something that like breaks the brain a little bit. So that Polar Bears was the first one to do that, but I feel I tend to be drawn towards plays that live sort of in a more unique capacity.
And I think Antiquities does that quite well.
I think so too.
And so without spoiling, obviously you don't want to spoil the show before we get there, how would you describe the show to someone who's never heard of it?
Yes, The Antiquities by Jordan Harrison is a play about a museum of humanity in a post-humanity era. And so it is told through small vignettes that start 250 years in our past and go 250 years in our future. And so we see all these demonstrations of what it means to be a human being, both what has happened in our past, both distant and recent, but then we also imagine what might be to come. in an increasingly digital age, and really the intersection of human beings and technology.
It's a wild ride.
It's a wild ride. Yes, we span 500 years. We have an ensemble of 9 actors, each of whom play 5 or 6 different roles. We have an absurd amount of costumes and props and locations. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, definitely. Oh my God, so much fun. And so can you take us like of the process of how and when you decided to direct the Antiquities? When did it come into your life?
So as you mentioned, I am on staff at SpeakEasy. I'm the director of artistic and community programs, and I've been at SpeakEasy for a long time. But part of my role is that I'm actually on our artistic team that selects shows for our season. I work together with in this particular case, our former artistic director, Paul Daigneault, as well as our new artistic director, Don Simmons. And the 3 of us sort of worked together to find scripts that felt like SpeakEasy, that were bold and current and had something to say, and then sort of fit them all together to make a cohesive and exciting, complete season. We read this play and I immediately lunged for it. It is so different and so smart and funny and a little frightening, and it is also deeply beautiful. And as I mentioned, it is one of the most unique forms of storytelling I've ever come across. So as soon as I gave it a read, I leapt for the opportunity to direct it myself.
Yeah, and something that you mentioned is being on the artistic team, and every week so far during the summer I've gotten the chance to partake in what's called like literary, where we read about like 2 plays a week and just talk about them for future seasons, or just like to get on our radar, and also just to like read more plays, which is always incredible. And so something you ask us every week about all these plays is why this show now. So I'm going to ask it right back to you.
I would argue there couldn't be a more now show. Not only is it about humanity on a larger spectrum, but it is specifically the intersection of human beings and technology. And I do think that's a conversation that we're having all the time, of how are we using technology to better our society and to make life easier for us as humans, and what are the risks that come with that? What are the risks of using AI, overusing AI? Do we lose any of our humanity if we turn over so much of our society to that work? But then ultimately what it comes down to is that the kernel of the piece is more that humanity is not something that can be replicated, and that we are very unique, complicated, complex, special little creatures, and that we really just have this one life. So I think it's very now.
Yes, extremely. And at the time like of choosing it, do you think you knew like what was to come, I guess? Because you choose these things in advance and you don't know how it's going to read. I mean, obviously the show is happening next year in the spring. And so were you kind of aware of like maybe where we were heading?
Well, interestingly, I think the question of technology's role in our society is something that has spanned centuries. And it's quite frankly what the play is exactly about. And so we do have scenes that, take place in the early 1900s, in the 70s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, as well as scenes that take place now or pretty close to now. And we were already grappling with these conversations of like making our mark on the world, using technology to do so. What is a computer? How do we work in the digital sphere? Decades ago. It feels like it gets more relevant sort of every day. And so the exploration of that over the years and then looking into the future, are we looking into our actual future? Is it one of the many possibilities that could happen? While it feels like an issue we're dealing with right now, it's been something we've been dealing with right now for years.
Yeah, and that's something that I was going to touch on actually in my next question. It was like, since it touches on so much of the future of AI and the unknown and it's maybe take over, like, do you personally see this play as a cautionary tale that we can avoid or as something inevitable to brace for in the future?
There's certainly an element of cautionary tale with this play. I think the fear of losing our humanity is something that should be considered when we implement AI and incorporate technology into the work we do. But I actually see the piece a lot more hopeful. I think it's very reflective about what it means to be a human being, and that no matter what tools we have at our discretion, we still remain so singular. I see the piece as reminding us to live in the present and to celebrate what it means to be a complicated human being. So yes, should we be careful about AI? Sure, absolutely. But I hope that people will leave this show thinking about what it means to be human.
I think we've been seeing a little bit of a like a pattern of robots being able to teach us about humanity with the Tony-winning maybe happy ending, and like that reminded me of that just now of like how we've talked about this a lot in literary too, of like displacing kind of our humanness onto something else, and then it in return allowing us to feel so much.
Exactly.
And I think that's beautiful. Yes. And I can't wait. I think it's just going to change a lot for people just in their heads, and again, give more hope, which is obviously one of the most important things that we need right now. And so as a director, like, what excites you about bringing this piece from the page to a stage?
This is going to be such an adventure. I think the role of a director is to lead an ensemble of talented people. I want to find the actors who can play their roles best. I want to find the designers who can do their work best, and gathering us together and sort of like leading us all to create this shared vision. We are in the process of assembling our team now, and I could not be more excited to work with these artists. I think that both on stage and off, the artists that are going to be working on this piece are geniuses and have a lot of vision. It's a wild play to read. Yeah. I think it is going to be a significantly more wild play to watch. I think it will look like nothing audiences have seen. There's a lot of play that comes with it. Again, actors are playing a ton of different roles, transforming between scenes. We are leaping through time. We have wild costumes and props and lights and sound. I think this is going to be a carnival of a piece. And I'm really excited.
I'm so excited. I mean, I will definitely be there.
You better.
Yes, 100%. And so as a director, like, what inspires you? Like, what inspires your creative flame?
I love that question. I think theater as an art form is both one of the most basic pillars of humanity. We've been telling stories from day one. It is so universal. It is so human. But it is also, there's so much possibility in how we tell these stories. And so as a director, I am drawn to the basic act of collaborating with artists to tell a story. But I am also inspired by all of the possibilities that exist. I think you can do some really, really brilliant, unique, and different things in a theater space. And it really fuels my fire working with others to dream.
Yeah, no, it always makes me, it overwhelms me when I think of all the possibilities that there are, because you can see the same show, different productions come out of it completely different.
Absolutely.
That's, I think, again, the power of not just theater, but the power of direction and you having a vision for something. And so obviously can't wait to see your vision for Antiquities. And so how do you what do you consider to be maybe like your directing style? Like and how has that kind of changed or developed over time?
Absolutely. I think what I've learned, the more I direct, the older I get, is that collaboration is at the heart of all of it. I think it's really exciting to have a director who has a strong vision, as long as that vision includes all of the voices in the room and listening and talking and discussing and working together to find the heart of the piece. So I do think that that is something that the more I direct, the more excited I am about working collaboratively. I do tend to still be drawn to the same type of stories I've always been drawn to, those that are unique methods of storytelling, that push the boundaries. I mean, I've been at SpeakEasy so long because my personal artistic mission aligns so well with the company's mission. I am drawn to pieces that are bold, that have something to say, and that will compel thoughtful conversation that lasts a long time after the lights come up. But I also think you can find something exciting and thrilling and new and different in every piece of theater you make. So that's really what I'm drawn to: collaboration and finding something special and unique everywhere I go.
Yeah. And what would you say to young aspiring directors who maybe have visions but have no idea how to start?
So it all comes down to finding creative partners. Find the people who you want to work with, be it actors, designers, stage managers, technicians, and start by talking about the pieces you love and your vision and what is getting you excited, but then talk about it collaboratively and start to make theater together. Even if it is just in your living room daydreaming, I think that is where some of the most brilliant and revolutionary ideas begin.
Yeah, it's like the most pure version of what the thing we do.
Yeah, exactly.
And so what is the thing you want audiences to take from the Antiquities?
I mean, strap yourself in is what I'll warn them with. I think it is going to be a wild ride. And so I do think audiences will take away a bit of overwhelm with excitement and possibility and craziness and opportunity. But I think, like I said before, the heart of the piece is that humanity cannot be replicated. And we should try to be grateful every day for the one specific singular life we lead.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Well, Alex, thank you so much for chatting
Thanks,
today.
Ashley.
This was so much fun. I'm, again, thrilled for the Antiquities. I read it. I'm like, I can't wait to see it because I feel like that's just going to change everything.
I think so. I think it's going to, I hope it wows people.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited to tell this story and to do so with such an amazing team. It's going to be something else.
Yeah. It's like, what is it? Maybe the Avengers, assembling the Avengers of actors.
Sure. Exactly that.
the dream team.
The dream team for
this
sure.
project.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to go to SpeakEasyStage.com to learn more about the Antiquities. And thanks for listening.